Counted down to the flat finale at Naas with Browne McMonagle. You were the champion apprentice last year. You're going to be champion apprentice this year. Your stats are remarkably similar, and next year you become professional into the professional ranks. How are you feeling about it all?
Very excited. We had a great year. First season without a claim, so it was obviously a lot tougher, and I had to raise the bar a good bit and keep improving, obviously. But things have gone really good, and hopefully it keeps rolling out to the end of the season.
A lot of minor hurlers don't make it to the senior level, so like when you lose your claim, how much of a worry is that?
It's not much of a worry, but you just have to keep improving, raise your level as much as you can, work harder. It's obviously a very competitive game, and there's always someone there to be standing on your toes to take your places and whatever. So you need to be at your best at all times and be competitive with the best of them. And it is a tough sport, but I'm happy the way things are going, and long may it now last, hopefully.
It's still early days, but 7 years ago there was a documentary made about you predicting fine things. Tell us about that.
Yeah, I wasn't too big at that time. I was only
physically
12.
or otherwise.
Yeah, otherwise. I was only 12, but that was great. It's still getting plenty of views at the minute, and it was a massive help to get my name out there. I thought there was plenty of people seeing it, and all those things helped, definitely.
You liked boxing when you were a kid as well?
Yeah, I did plenty of boxing. It was good sport, kept the fitness up, and it's good to have behind you as well, to be able to hold your ground and whenever you need to. But it was a big help for me, definitely.
Well, how so?
Just mentally, everywhere, physically.
It's extremely demanding, isn't it?
Definitely. It's getting bigger as well, but it's good to have. It strengthens you up. You're fit, you're healthy. It's good for the mind as well, I say, and the training's very tough. So it all combines with the racing in a way with fitness. So it all helped when I was growing up, and I was glad I had it behind me, definitely.
You grew up in Donegal. How did you get into racing?
My whole family was into pony racing, really. My uncle Adrian had loads of horses, and Hugh, and it was just, I was always grew up around them. Got lessons when I was younger. I used to go down to Razor Carton every Tuesday night and do lessons in a pole called Kipper. I had my first winter pony racing on him, and things grew then. Got going into the horse category in the pony racing, and got so much support from loads of people, and Adrian was obviously the main one with the horses, and he was kind of the Aidan O'Brien of the pony racing, so I was lucky to have him as my uncle to ride them all, and I got a lot of help from my whole family. They were always, mum and dad and my sister Arla, and everyone in the whole family they were always there for me when they needed me, driving me up and down the country, and a big help. But there's definitely loads of people, they know who they are. Johnny Holian, he used to drive me around for hours upon hours every day, going riding horses here, there and everywhere during the summer and stuff, and there's so many people to thank, but it's all a big help when you're young to put the ground in and do it properly. But it was massive help for me, I thought.
You mentioned Aidan O'Brien, so did Joseph come to you or did you come to Joseph?
I went down for a week's, it was on my mid-term break, I think, when I was in 5th year. I went down with Shane Foley down to Joseph's for a week, and then afterwards I started going down on the weekends, and then one thing led to another, and we've been going strong since.
Now, this is mad. 3 of the top 4 apprentices in the country, you actually all live together, you, Jake and Mike Sheehy.
Yeah, we're all in Joseph's, so it obviously just shows you how good of a yard we're in, how lucky we are to be associated with Joseph and all the great riders down there. And
you got to be helping each other as well, even without trying, like.
Definitely, yeah. But we're all there to keep each other on our toes, and we do help each other along as best we can, and it's a very competitive yard.
Is it enjoyable?
Definitely. It's a very easy working environment, everything's fairly chillaxed, and it's a massive help for the horses as well, being in that way relaxed and everything's in routine, and it's a good atmosphere down there, I must say. Yeah,
and it must be almost a fun place to go to work and to learn from the likes of Declan McDonough as well.
Yeah, exactly. There's plenty of good riders, Shane and Declan and Hugh Horgan and all's down there as well. With Conor Walsh lives with us actually as well. He's a new man in the block. He'll be riding plenty of winners soon, I'm sure. But it's very competitive. There's loads of good riders, but we do help each other a lot, and obviously you learn loads from the older guys as well. But Joseph works very hard. There's loads of horses down there, and he's very fair to all of us and gives us all loads of chances.
Who's the boss in the house between you, Mikey and Jake then?
Jake's at school these days, so it's just myself and Mikey, but There's no real boss. We're fairly chilled.
Yeah, and is it a kind of a good fun house when you come home and you probably chat about your winners and your losers and all that?
Yeah, we don't get much time for that crack. You know, during the summer when you're racing, it'd be late evenings and you wouldn't be home till late. You'd be gone straight to bed and up early the next morning for work and stuff. But we're not the kind of guys to be lying in the house in the evenings. We'd always be going doing stuff, and we'd be an active gang. So yeah, very enjoyable house, and glad to have good lads to live with as well, because it's a big help.
Absolutely, and you had a great weekend obviously going into Naas on an overseas raid in France, but we're recording this at the Curragh, where you won the Golf Vince O'Brien National Stakes Champions Weekend, Longines Irish Champions Weekend on Al Rifa. That obviously was the highlight of your career so far.
Definitely.
Confident going into the race?
I was quietly. It was very competitive obviously on the day. He was an improving horse. He's big beast. He was improving from every run, and I was confident he had a big engine, and it was just hoping that everything would fall right in the day, and it did. And thank God it all worked out good.
What was the feeling like crossing the line when you realised I've done this?
Yeah, it didn't really kick in until a couple of days after, but it's a bit of a relief as well at the same time. And
monkey off your back, kind of.
Yeah, not even, but it's just to get that Group 1 on the board at 19. It was very special. And to do it for Joseph as well, and the owners, Khalifa and all the lads, it was great, and I'm very lucky to be able to get on such a nice horse at such a young age. So I'm very privileged.
I think the only person we haven't mentioned in the top four is Jamie Powell, who's starting so well as well. The standard of apprentices in Ireland, I know it's been high for a few years, but it does seem especially good at the moment.
Yeah, definitely.
Do you get on well?
We do. We all get on good. We're obviously it's very different on the track compared to what it's like in the weigh room, but on and off track we're all good friends. We look out for each other, but it's very competitive. Jamie's flying there at the minute, and he's getting going. He's able to do light weights, and he's improving every day. You see a difference in him, but he's definitely going to be a man for the future as well.
What was your best ride, do you think, you gave a horse this year?
It's not easy to pick out one. Not saying there is many, but
is it like winning narrowly, or is it like coming through horses? Is it making the run, and what do you like most?
It depends. You could give a horse a great ride from the front that you wouldn't by dropping in, and it just depends on what way the race unfolds and what horse you're on, I suppose. But I couldn't pick out one and say it was my best, but I've been lucky to be on good horses.
How much of a difference does that make? Like, say if you're riding in handicaps the whole time, does your confidence get better if you're riding in group races?
It would, if you're riding good quality horses in good races and you're competitive. It's definitely a massive help. But it wouldn't matter if it was a good winner or a bad winner. A winner's a winner, and it's always good for the confidence. And I think when you're riding with confidence, as you can see from all the boys that does ride loads of winners, they rarely make mistakes. And when you're riding with confidence, everything seems to just fall right for you. You're always in the right place at the right time and making the right decisions. But obviously people do make wrong decisions sometimes, but when you're riding winners, it's definitely a massive help.
Do you discuss it with Justin afterwards if things went wrong, and is it like a kind of a mature discussion?
Yeah, exactly. You make a plan before the race, and hopefully it all plans right for you. Sometimes it doesn't. You have to go to plan B and C, and you just have to take it under your own belt at that stage, and hopefully things go right for you. But when it does go wrong, you just have to come in and hold your hands up and say what you did wrong and move on and get on with it. But like I say, we're only human. Everyone makes mistakes, and you just have to learn from them and don't make them again. Two
more questions for you. Who was your role model as a jockey when you were aspiring to be one?
I was obviously always looked at Ryan Murray. He was the king of them all, and he still is riding at the highest level. But he's definitely one that I was always looking up to. But I've obviously got loads of support from other jockeys. Shane Foley was a massive help to me through my career. He was always helping me from when I was young, getting me horses for pony racing, etc., taking me into different yards and riding out, and he was definitely a massive help. But Keith Donoghue, there's loads and loads of riders that used to ride for Adrian Pony Racing that always knew me from when I was younger, and they always helped me then when I got going.
That must mean so much, like, because as you get older, you don't appreciate the difference you can make to a kid by being helpful at that time.
Yeah, exactly. And when you're looking at those guys, you're looking up to them like they're superstars, and when they're helping you out and giving you tips and trying to do their best for you, it's a massive help, and they're the guys you need to be listening to. Obviously, when you get a bit of advice from someone that knows, you need to take it on board and and take it all in.
Final question: is it your main aspiration to be champion jockey one day, or do you have even broader ambitions?
So obviously, you do want to be champion jockey, but you just want to be the best, I suppose, that you can, and hopefully someday I can be champion jockey.
When are you going to reach your peak?
That's unknown. Hopefully very soon, and then I can keep going.
And you have mentioned the crack in the weighing room, but like the big narrative in the weighing room is Billy versus Colin. There's so little between them. What is the atmosphere like when they're going head to head?
It's very cool, in fairness. The two guys are very relaxed.
They are laid back individuals.
There's not much phases them, so they're just taking it day by day now. The two of them is riding out of their skin, and may the best man win now at the end.